Hello guys, welcome to Levy and Zozo's reactions. Today we're gonna be talking about the solar system. So I'm gonna talk about a bunch of things about the solar system. And the first planet in the solar system that we're gonna talk about today is Mercury. First, let's dive deeper into the solar system before we talk about Mercury. So, the solar system is made of 8 planets, including Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. And then and the 9th planet is Pluto, even though it's a dwarf planet. They all orbit around the sun, which is in our center of the solar system. The sun is a very large object in our solar system. It's one of the largest objects in our solar system, even though it's not the largest star in our galaxy. The galaxy we are in is the Milky Way. The Milky Way, it has a bunch of stars. So the Milky Way galaxy has an estimated from 100 to 400 billion stars. But there are galaxies that have a bunch of more stars in our solar system. And Taylor is back from the store. He just got all of the ingredients for the Egg McMuffin that he's gonna be making for lunch today. So anyways, as we're going on, I'm going to be talking about more planets in our solar system. But we're not going to be talking about Earth. We're skipping Earth because we are on Earth. And we know a bunch of things about Earth. So the first planet we're talking about is Mercury. But first let me give you a reminder. Would you like to study the solar system? Because I'm interested in the solar system, even though I do a bunch of other things. Anyways, we're going to be talking about the planet Mercury. So if you don't know what Mercury is, it's the closest planet to the sun in our solar system. It is very close, and it's also very hot, but it's not the hottest planet. But we're going to be going on to another planet in another video. Anyway, so Mercury is the closest planet to the sun, and it's the smallest planet in our solar system. Mercury, he is a very small planet, so it lacks stuff that Earth has, which we are on right now. So Mercury is the smallest planet in our solar system. And it's also very small, so don't mistake Mercury's size for another planet's size. Anyways, let's talk about its rotation and orbit. So, its rotation speed is very slow. Mercury has 2 days, including a sidereal day and a solar day. But the sun changed Mercury's rotation speed. So instead of being a sidereal day, it's a solar day. So Mercury's sidereal day lasts 59 Earth days. That is extremely slow. Mercury rotates very slowly, which is why it doesn't have a lot of, which is why its orbit is way faster than it. But we're gonna get onto its orbit after we talk about its rotation, because we don't want to get confused, because rotation and orbit is different. A sidereal day on Mercury is 59 Earth days on its axis, but a solar day on Mercury is way longer than that. A solar day on Mercury is over 160 days, or Earth days. So it's basically, it has 2 different days though. So it's not, so don't be confused on which one is a sidereal day and which one is a solar day. I'm just explaining you that. First, now let's go on to its orbit. Mercury, even though it rotates very slowly, it has a very fast orbit. Mercury orbits at Mercury takes less than 90 days to make one orbit, which means 88 days. It makes 88 days to make one orbit. This is way faster than the 365 days that Earth takes to make one orbit. Which is why a year on Mercury, it goes extremely fast. Now let's talk about does Mercury have an atmosphere? So compared to other planets like Venus, Earth, and Mars, does Mercury even have an atmosphere? Well, no, it doesn't have an atmosphere. You know why? Because it lacks a substantial atmosphere. Instead, it has a very thin exosphere. Due to its lack of substantial atmosphere, its temperatures differ significantly, which we're gonna get onto that in a second. Which is why Mercury lacks a substantial atmosphere. But before we go on to its temperature, let's talk about what the difference between its rotation and orbit. So this is what I've learned in school. So what I've learned in school was my math and science teacher. She was talking about science. She said the sun changed Mercury's rotation speed to last exactly 2 years. Well, basically Mercury has this 3-2 thing, but instead of being 2-3, which is the term used in basketball, it's flipped all the way around, which means 3-2, which means every two rotations on Mercury is 3 orbits. This is pretty weird because basically Mercury rotates extremely slowly. It has the second slowest rotation speed in our solar system. Anyways, let's talk about its temperature. Mercury's temperatures differ significantly because instead of just having one temperature every time, it differs compared to Earth's. The side of Mercury facing the sun has a temperature of 800 degrees Fahrenheit. It's extremely hot, it's scorching hot. But Mercury lacks a greenhouse effect like other planets do. Because basically, Mercury doesn't have a greenhouse effect due to its lack of substantial atmosphere. And since Mercury doesn't have an atmosphere, it doesn't have a greenhouse effect that traps all the heat in its atmosphere. So on the night side of Mercury, all the heat escapes into outer space, which is why it's hard for Mercury to maintain its temperature. So the night side of Mercury, temperatures plummet to minus 280 degrees Fahrenheit. That's extremely cold. Because due to its significant lack of temperature or an atmosphere, which is why it doesn't have which doesn't have trapping all the heat in its atmosphere. So one fun fact about Mercury is that it has the most extreme temperature swings in our solar system. Because since Mercury lacks a substantial atmosphere, temperatures differ significantly. which is why Mercury doesn't have a substantial atmosphere. Now let's talk about what kind of planet is Mercury. So there's 8 planets in our solar system. The inner planets are known as terrestrial planets, which includes Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. The outer planets are known as gas giant planets, which is Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. There are 4 inner planets, but 4 outer planets. Now, so if y'all are taking notes right now, because you're gonna need to take notes from this, write down Mercury doesn't have an atmosphere, because I want you to remember that in mind. So anyways, Mercury is the smallest planet in our solar system. It had volcanic activity, but those happened in the past. And it ended like 3.8 billion years ago. So it ended early in its lifetime. So Mercury has mountains, volcanoes, even though it doesn't have any active volcanoes, it does. And also, here's one thing I want you to remember. Mercury is the closest planet to Earth. Excuse me. Mercury is the closest planet to Earth on average. Even though Venus can get closer to Earth at certain points in its orbit, we're going to be going over that in another video soon, but I want you to know that Venus spends most of its time on the other side of the sun, because it rotates in a clockwise position, while Mercury, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune orbits counterclockwise. So Mercury is the closest planet on average to Earth. So write that down. Alright guys, it's time to end this video. If you like this video, like and subscribe, and see more videos of Levy and Zozo's reaction. And also check out Zoe's baking video when she bakes brownies. That's a very good video to watch. And watch our video of Dave's Hot Chicken. We're gonna be putting up right here next to each other. Alright guys, see you later and have a good time. Bye.